Hello everyone, Tim back for another Minecraft strategy tutorial. Today we're going to be building Iron Man Mark II from the very first Iron Man movie. So yeah, let's go ahead and get this started. So to build Iron Man Mark II, you're going to need polished andesite, polished tuff, polished andesite slab, polished blackstone button, white stained glass, compressed white fire powder. If you don't want to use this is from the dynamic lighting mod, by the way. If you don't want to use this, you can just use sea lanterns. And polished deep slate. So to kick off your Iron Man Mark II statue, we're going to start by doing 1 polished andesite, 2 polished tuff, 2 polished andesite, 2 polished tuff, 1 polished andesite. We are then going to do 2 rows of polished andesite. On this third row that we just placed in front of it, we're going to do a andesite coming forward on the end blocks and 2 in the middle. And then we're going to put 2 upper half slabs in between. On top of this, we're going to stay 1 forward. We're going to do 1 tuff, 2 andesite, 2 tuff, 2 andesite, 1 tuff. We're then going to do an entire row of andesite. We are then going to do 1 slab, 2 andesite, 2 slabs, 2 andesites, 1 slab. We're then going to place 2 more andesite blocks on top of these, like that. And then coming back behind here, we're just going to fill everything behind that with polished andesite. Obviously, this isn't as shiny as the Mark II would be, but this is the closest block we can get. And then real quick, we're going to get out our polished blackstone buttons, and we're just going to place them on these 4 blocks. We are then going to do an entire row of polished andesite. We are then going to do the same row 3 times. We're going to do 1 polished andesite, 2 polished tuff, 2 polished andesites, 2 polished tuffs, 1 polished andesite, and do that 2 more times. We are then going to do 1 row of polished andesite, like that. And then that's the legs done, but what we're going to do is we're going to place some buttons. So we're going to do 3 buttons on each side of these polished tuffs, even in the middle, like so. And we're going to do 2 on top, just like this. And that is the front of the legs completely finished. Moving over to the sides, we are going to start by placing 1 polished tuff, 2 polished andesites. We're going to place a blackstone button on that tuff, and then what we're going to do is we're going to place 2 tuffs on the top 2 blocks here, and then we're just going to fill in the rest of the sides with andesite, like so. We are then going to get out our excuse me, we're going to get out our slabs, and we're going to do 1, 2, 3 slabs here, and then that's not the right block. And then we're going to do 3 rows of just andesite. Then we're going to do 3 andesites right here and 1 andesite slab. We're going to place 2 polished tuffs right here with 2 blackstone buttons on the front of them. And then we're going to do 4 polished blackstone buttons here, kind of linking this up right here. And then 2 polished blackstone buttons on these 2 tuffs up here. So that is that side. The other side is the exact same thing. So I'm going to go ahead and just place 2 tuffs up here, fill in the rest of this with just andesite. And then I'm just going to go ahead and really quickly just fill all of this in. By the way, be expecting Supergirl, Woman of Tomorrow, or not, it's not even called Woman of Tomorrow anymore, Supergirl statues coming soon. Same thing with Spider-Man Brand New Day. So I'm trying to get a lot more tutorials out. I just started a new job, so that's why the upload's kind of inconsistent. So that is that side. For the back of the legs, we're going to start on the top by doing 2 tuffs, 2 andesites, 2 tuffs. Then we're going to do 2 tuffs in the middle here, and then andesites everywhere else. We're going to do an entire row of andesite. Then we're going to do 2 tuffs, 2 andesites, 2 tuffs, and then we're just going to fill everything else in with andesite. Like so. So starting on the bottom, we're going to place 2 andesites here and 2 here. We're going to place an upper half andesite slab right next to those. We're then going to do 3 rows of andesite. We are then going to do an andesite on the ends of the row, 2 in the middle, and then 2 andesite slabs on top of the 2 middle ones. We're then going to do a 2x2 square of polished blackstone buttons right here and right here. And that is the back of the legs. So, oh wait, no, it's not. We're going to place andesite buttons on, or blackstone buttons right here on the bottoms, and then we're going to do a 2x2 square just right here and just right here. That is the back of the legs. So yeah, that is what you're going to want to have. It's coming up here to the front torso. We are going to start by doing an entire row of andesite. On this row, we're going to place a blackstone button here and here. The next row, we're going to do 2 andesites, 4 tufts, 2 andesites. And on this row, we're going to place a blackstone button on the ends. The next row, we are going to do 2 tufts, 4 andesites, 2 tufts, and we're going to place a blackstone here and here. By the way, before I forget, this will be a little easier for us later on. We're going to place 2 tufts right here, 2 andesites. It's just going to mark out where the hands are going to go. Like so. Back to the torso. We are going to do 2 andesites, 4 tufts, 2 andesites. Next row, 2 tufts, 4 andesites, 2 tufts, and then once again, just place the blackstone buttons just right here. For the rest of the torso, it honestly is just polished andesite. So it's going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 more rows of just polished andesite. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. And then just fill all of this in. Like so. And real quick, we're going to get out our white fire powder or sea lanterns, just whatever you're going to use. And we're going to knock out these 4 blocks right here. And we're going to replace them with your light block of choice. These actually like glow, so they look really cool. So it matches his arc reactor really well. And the reason I use these is because when I make War Machine, I used red fire powder, so the red version of this block, and it looks really good. So, anyways, coming back down here to this row, we're going to start by doing a polished andesite slab, and then do the same thing on the other side. We're then going to do an entire row of andesite on top of this. And we're going to place a blackstone button in the on the ends. We're then going to do 3 polished andesite, 2 polished tuff, 3 polished andesite, and we're going to place a blackstone button next to the tufts. Next, we're going to do 2 andesite, 1 tuff, 2 white stained glass, 1 tuff, 2 andesite, and we're going to place 2 blackstone buttons just on the andesites. Next, we're going to do 2 andesites, 1 tuff, 2 white stained glass, 1 tuff, 2 polished andesite. That's it. Next, we're going to do a polished tuff, 2 polished andesites, 2 polished andesite slabs, 2 polished andesites, 1 polished tuff, and place a blackstone button on the tufts. And then on the final row, we're going to place 1 andesite, 1 slab, and then skip over to the other side and do the exact same thing. So that is the front of the statue, or the torso, completely done. So now we're going to do the front of the arms. I'm going to do the left arm first. So we're going to do left to right. Real quick, we're going to place a blackstone button on this block right here. So what we're going to do is we're going to do an entire row of andesite. And on this row, we're going to do a andesite right here, and a andesite slab here, and a polished blackstone button here. The next row, we are going to do an entire row of andesite. In front of this, we're going to do 3 andesites and an andesite slab here. And then we're going to go ahead and place a polished blackstone button here. Next row, we're just going to go ahead and make it entirely andesite like this and just place another blackstone button. The next row we're going to do another row of andesite back here. And we're going to do 3 andesite here and then an andesite slab, and then place your blackstone button here. The next row we're going to do an andesite slab or andesite block, 2 polished tufts, andesite, and then place an andesite slab right here. The next row we're going to place a polished tuff, 2 andesites, polished tuff. Next row we're going to place 4 andesites with 2 polished blackstones in the middle. Next row is entirely polished andesite with blackstone buttons on each and every single one of those. Next row we're going to make entirely polished tuff. And then the final 2 rows we're just going to make polished andesite. And what we're going to do is we're going to place 2 andesite slabs on these tufts here. We're going to do an entire row of andesite on top. And then we're going to do 3 andesites here. And that is the front of that arm. And then we're going to do the exact same thing over here. So button here. Then we're going to do the slab. Oh no, that's a full block, then the slab, and then a button here. We're going to do 3 here with a slab on the end, then 4, then slab on the end with 3 behind it. And place these here. Oh, that's not right. Place our 3 polished blackstone buttons. Place a slab here. Just like this. Place our buttons. Entire row polished tuff. 2 rows of andesites. Place our 2 slabs. Entire row of andesite, and then 3 andesites here. So that is the front of the Mark II completely finished. Good job. It's a little bit more cleaner than the Mark I. So, anyways, let's move on to the sides. The sides are actually pretty easy on the arms. So we're going to take everything, well, actually, no, we're not. We're going to bring this polished tuff back by 3 with the polished andesite. So 1, 2, and 3. Same thing over here. 1, 2, 3, and just connect those right here. And then in here, we're just going to place 4 of your light block. That's like the repulsor. And then for the actual sides, we're going to place 2 tuff here, and then take this tuff all the way back. And then everything else is entirely just andesite, and we're just going to add on to it. Just like that. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to place 2 andesite slabs here with a 2x2 square of tuff on top. We're going to place andesite around it like this, and then we're going to do another row of it on top. We're then going to do an entire row of andesite slabs. We are then up here going to do 2 andesites with an andesite slab in the upper halves. We're going to do an entire row of andesite on top, and then we're going to do 2 andesites on top of that. And that is that side. The other side is going to be the exact same thing. So I'm going to go ahead and make the repulsor. That's not right. There we go. Like that. And then just real quick, we're going to go ahead and do this. Do the polished tuff right here. Surround it with andesite. Put the row of slabs. Put 2 slabs here, and then 2 full blocks in the middle. Entire row of full blocks, and just 2 full blocks on top. And that is that side done. For the back, really the back of the arms. The back of the arms are very similar to the front. There's a few differences. But what we're going to do is we're going to take the polished tuff over by 3. And then, honestly, it might be a little easier to work down. We're going to do 2 rows of polished andesite below the tuff. And then below those, we're going to place 2 tuff here. And then just fill the rest of the back of the arm in with andesite. I'm going to go ahead and just do the exact same thing over here. Just real quick, and then we'll add all the armor on. Okay. So what we're going to do is we're going to do the gauntlet that we did on the front. So we're going to start with a andesite block, then a andesite slab. Real quick, we're going to place our buttons as well. So we're going to place one right here and one right here. We're going to do 3 andesite and then a slab. We're going to do 4 andesite. We're going to do 3 andesite slab. Well, that's not a slab. Actually, that's wrong. My bad. We're going to do an andesite here instead of a slab. Then we're going to do 2 andesites here with a slab on each side of it. I wasn't even paying attention. And then we're going to do 2 polished black stones on these tufts here. And then this up here actually is the same. So we're going to do 2 andesites, or andesite slabs, tyro andesite, and then 2 andesites up here. And that is the back of that arm. And we're going to go ahead and do the exact same thing right over here. So like that. And that is the back of the arms. And real quick, for the shoulders, we're just going to go ahead and fill these in with polished andesite. And what we're going to do on top of these is we're going to get out our polished andesite slabs, and we're going to place 2 here, and then 1 here, and 1 here. And that's like, it's kind of hard to explain. It's just the top of the shoulders. So like that. And that, oh. Did I miss a block? I did. There we go. And that is that. For the back of the statue, it's a little complicated, and we'll do it. We're going to start with tyro polished andesite. Then we're going to do an andesite, actually 2 andesites, sorry. Tough, 2 andesites, tough, 2 andesites. And then we're going to place a blackstone button right here and right here. We're then going to do 2 tufts, 4 andesites, 2 tufts. We are then going to do 2 andesites, 1 tuff, 2 andesites, 1 tuff, 2 andesites. And real quick, we're going to place 2 buttons here, and then 1 here, and 1 here. Just like that. For the next row, actually, I think the easiest way to do this, let's just fill in the rest of the back. Like so. Now for the next row, we're going to start by doing a upper half andesite slab, and then 2 andesites, skip 2 blocks, 2 andesites, 1 andesite slab. We're going to place 2 buttons in the middle, and then 1 here and 1 here. Next year we're going to do 2 andesites, a tuff, skip 2 blocks, a tuff, 2 andesites, and place 2 blackstone buttons on these andesites right here. Next year we're going to do the exact opposite. We're going to do 2 tuffs, 1 andesite, place 2 blackstone buttons, an andesite, 2 tufts. Next up, we're going to do 3 andesites, 2 upper half andesite slabs, 3 andesites, and we're going to place a button on the ends. The next row, we're going to do 2 andesites, 1 tuff, 2 andesites, 1 tuff, 2 andesites, and place 1 blackstone button on top of the tufts. We're then going to do an entire row of andesite. And we're going to place an andesite on top of these tufts with a slab coming out of the left and to the right, respectively. For the next row, we're going to do 3 andesites, sorry. 2 andesite slabs, 3 andesites. And on this row, we're going to do an upper half slab here, a tuff with a blackstone button on it, a slab in the lower half, and then skip 2 blocks and do the exact same thing over here. like that. And then the final row, we're going to do 2 andesites on the ends, and then we're going to place 1 andesite here, 1 here, and then 1 andesite on top of the tuff. And that is the back. Pretty simple stuff. So we're going to come back up here to the front, and we're going to build the head now. So we're going to start by doing 2 andesites here, 1 tuff. Same thing over here. We're going to connect everything on the first row with just andesite. This next row we're going to do 1 tuff, 1 andesite, 2 tuffs, 1 andesite, 1 tuff. The next row we're going to do 1 tuff, 2 andesites, 2 polished deep slate, 2 andesites, 1 tuff. We're then going to do 2 entire rows of just andesite. If I can build right. Then we're going to do 1 andesite, leave these 2 open, 2 andesite, leave these 2 open, 1 andesite. And we're going to go ahead and just place white stained glass in these 2 open spots, and we're going to place the light block behind them. Like that. We're then going to do an entire row of andesite, and then we're going to do 3 andesite, 2 tuff, 3 andesite, and then the final row we're going to do 2 andesite, 4 tuff, 2 andesite, which will give us the face. Moving on to the sides, we're going to start with the left one. We're going to go back by 2 with the tuff, and then 3 with the andesite. For the next row from left to right, we're going to do 1 tuff, and then the rest is andesite. Next row, we're going to do 1 andesite, 1 tuff, 1 andesite, 2 tuff, 1 andesite, 1 tuff. Next, we're going to do 2 andesite, 1 tuff, 2 andesite, 2 tuffs, and we're going to go and place 2 blackstone buttons on these 2 andesites in the middle. Next, we're going to do 3 tuffs, 2 andesites, 2 tuffs, and place 2 blackstone buttons in the middle. Next, we're going to do 3 andesites, 2 tuffs, 1 andesite, 1 tuff. Next, we're going to do 1 andesite, 1 tuff, place a blackstone button on that one. 3 andesites, 1 tuff, 1 andesite. And then we're going to do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 tuffs, 1 andesite. And that will give us this side of the head completely finished. So we're going to come to the other side and literally just copy what we just did. I've already messed up. There we go. So that is that side completely done. For the back, the back's pretty simple, I'd say at least. We're going to start by just filling in the bottom 2 rows with just andesite. Then we're going to do 1 tuff going in, 4 andesites, 1 tuff. Next row, it's the exact opposite. 1 andesite, 4 tuff, 1 andesite. Then we're going to do an entire row of andesite with 2 polished blackstone buttons in the middle. Next, we're going to do a tuff, 4 andesite, 1 tuff. Next, we're going to do 1 andesite, 4 tuff, 1 andesite. Next, we're going to do an entire row of andesite with 2 polished blackstone buttons in the middle. And then we're going to make the entire top row tuff. For the top of the head, we'll go... What's the best way to do this? I guess we can just start from up here. So for the top of the head, we're going to place a andesite here and here. And we're going to place tuffs around these, like that. We're going to do 6 andesites here. And we're going to do an entire row of tough. And then in these corners, we're going to do 2 andesites, just like this. And we're going to have 2 coming off of it. And then we're just going to fill everything else in with just tough. And once you've done that, you will have officially finished your Iron Man Mark II statue. So honestly, pretty easy statue tutorial, if I do say so myself. But yeah, that is the Mark II. I'm sorry it took so long to get this guy out. I've just been very preoccupied. But yeah, so thank you guys all so much for watching, and I will see you guys all in the next one. Bye-bye.